Good morning, everybody. This is Jeff J. Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, Shenzhen, just south of the Tropic of Cancer. It's early morning here. The birds are chirping. Got a great article podcast today. Lots of links and, of course, the usual picture with a byline, so be sure and take a look at it. It is titled, Baba Beijing is going to shove ZTE way up Uncle Sam's backside. And above is the third title I gave for this article. The first two are just as apropos. Number one, ZTE is Uncle Sam's latest bullet to the brain, hastening the West's slow suicide. Number two, ZTE, you can't keep a good communist socialist company down. All right, the body of the article. Last week, the United States banned ZTE, a Chinese telecommunications company, from importing anything from the U.S. for 7 years. Why? Because ZTE supposedly did business with Iran, again, contrary to the U.S.'s illegal sanctions on the Islamic Republic. 13 months ago, Uncle Sam extorted a record $1.2 billion out of ZTE for doing business with Iran, as if it should matter. This whole story is a point of local pride for me. ZTE is a Shenzhen company. I drive by their corporate headquarters and see their modern tower in the central business district. While not a huge business by Fortune 500 standards, it is one of the most successful telecommunication companies in the world. ZTE is also a state-owned enterprise, an SOE, meaning 100% commie red, which one of my alternate titles alludes to. Within hours of the U.S.'s announcement, Baba Beijing, China's leadership, was conducting high-level meetings in Shenzhen and the capital to discuss the total ban's implications. In the public sphere, the national media are subdued but resolute. In the Chinese language press, the tone has been more defiant and patriotic, calling it trade blackmail, which is, of course, true. Even if ZTE were 100% private, Baba Beijing would not allow a company of such strategic importance to the country's plans to fail. Those plans are next year's huge rollout for the nationwide 5G mobile phone network, which will be the biggest on Earth starting day one. ZTE is at the cutting edge of 5G innovation, research, and development, and is thus critical to China's future in connectivity and telecommunications. ZTE's global leadership in a key 21st century sector, along with being a commie SOE, may partially explain Washington's keen desire to kill it for both competitive and ideological reasons. It helps to know what ZTE's name means in Chinese. Its full name is Zhongxin Tongxun. The first two characters, Zhongxing, mean Chinese national resurgence or Chinese national rejuvenation. The last two characters, Tongxun, mean communication. It's the same theme of Chinese road to rejuvenation, a hugely popular exhibit at the National Museum in Beijing. It starts at the country's nadir, 1839, when Britain humiliated 1/4 of humanity by forcing them to import unlimited quantities of illegal drug cartel opium, payable only in gold and silver, thus ruining the country until communist liberation in 1949. Of course, the United States and Europe joined in the colonial rape of the country, then later Japan, which lasted for a total of 110 years. Soon after Xi Jinping was elected president, he toured the Chinese Road to Rejuvenation exhibit in Beijing, came out and announced his concept of the Chinese dream for his 1.4 billion citizens, and we would soon realize for the whole world. Given all this critically important historical and symbolic context, how important is an SOE named with the theme of the Chinese people rising up again against Urangloland? Does this help explain Washington's zealous efforts to destroy ZTE? 5G needs billions of computer, relay, and phone microchips, and ZTE was buying many, if not most of them, from the United States. Not having that source anymore will definitely set ZTE back in the short term as it looks for other sources, both nationally and internationally. Internationally, unless Europe plays its usual poodle on a leash position and heels to Uncle Sam's threats and extortion to also refuse exports to China, which is a very real possibility. In the long term, what the Trump administration did may be the best thing that ever happened to China. A good comparison is Russia, where the equally ridiculous and illegal bans, boycotts, and sanctions have turbocharged Big Bear's financial sector, agriculture, hydrocarbons, manufacturing, and industries. Western extortion can make smaller countries' people really suffer and die from all the shortages, especially those with concentrated production in only one or two sectors. That is the case for Cuba, sugar, Iraq, Iran, and Venezuela, hydrocarbons, and North Korea, mining and heavy industry. What the U.S. is trying to do to strangle Russia has been a colossal miscalculation, and what it has just done to ZTE will prove to be just as devastating, not to China, but to the West. Here's what's going to happen. 2 years ago, President Xi Jinping presciently told the country that China needed to become self-sufficient in cybersecurity and information telecommunication technology. Maybe Xi Jinping had a sixth sense, but Trump and company have played a masterful stroke right into Xi's hands, and the West had better get ready. Xi has been pounding the pavement, telling his government and citizens that their 21st century success depends on core technology, and now the nation's missile launcher has been loaded to turbocharge that success thanks to Washington, D.C. The Chinese road to resurgence couldn't be any clearer now. Baba Beijing will declare this case to be an aggressive imperial shot across its bow to blow the clarion horns of urgency. No more ZTEs. The Chinese will develop a huge nationwide Manhattan project to make China self-sufficient in mass-produced microchips. China already makes the best supercomputer processors, driving the world's fastest number-crunching machines. In fact, China is way ahead of Urangloland, my name for NATO, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Israel. China is way ahead of Urangloland in speed and total numbers of supercomputers. So, the Chinese know how to make the best specialized custom computer processors, but have relied for decades on low-cost Western mass-produced microchips for phones, PCs, appliances, home electronics, and the like. The Chinese have the high-tech part down. Now they need to ramp up high-volume production. Thanks to the fear, arrogance, and hubris of U.S. empire, this supply chain problem is going to be solved right here in China and Shenzhen, now much sooner than later, and Uncle Sam and the rest of Urangloland will end up screwing themselves royally in the backside. Just like Russia is now outcompeting the West in grain exports, and in a few years, China will be flooding the world market with superior, cheaper, mass-produced microchips. It's going to hit Urangloland like a high-speed Sino train going 1,000 kilometers an hour, screaming, "No more ZTEs!" This is Jeff Brown, China Rising Radio Sinoland, signing out. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.